Welcome to WO50 Podcast. Women over 50 embody wisdom and wellness.
Yes, we do. And now we embody travel too, because this is our last episode on our last day of our Sexty in Sicily trip.
Or some might say 60 in Sicily.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of has a better ring, but sexty in Sicily is just as effective.
Yep. And this episode, we're gonna sum up our trip. We're gonna talk about where we've been, what we've learned, the challenges, the joys, maybe expectations, what we learned, and we'll sum up our trip. So hope you enjoy the episode of our summation of our celebration of 60's years on the planet in Sicily.
Ciao.
Here we are, last day. We're in Palermo.
Mm-hmm. Up on the hilltop, high on the mountain.
Yep. And we wanted to do a video recording of this, but it is a very sort of cloudy, black day. Mm-hmm. And it's spitting down a little bit of rain, not too much. It's really the first off day we've had since we embarked on this journey almost 3 weeks ago now.
Yes. And that's a blessing from the universe to just stop for a little bit and reflect and take it all in and start processing it.
And pack.
And pack our suitcase. We didn't overshop, which is very cool.
We didn't, yeah.
No, but
although
we are headed to Barcelona tomorrow.
We're supposed to be some of the best shopping.
For only a day.
For only a day, and then New York for just a night. And that's my theory of how not to have jet lag, but we'll see how we do. Mm-hmm. We started off in Newfoundland. If you've listened to other podcasts before, we talked about, we've been planning this trip for a long time. We've been planning going away somewhere for our 50s, we find, because we've known each other since our 20s.
Yes. I'd say we've wanted to do a trip for 20 or 30 years together.
Like a big trip.
A big one, a memorable one. A challenging one.
I don't know if we would have chosen challenging.
No, we do now. We've chosen that word now.
We chose. Yeah, so we'll tell you how we worked this. So when the year was kind of getting away with us, and we knew we wanted to go somewhere our 60th year, which was 2023, and the year was getting away from us. I think it wasn't until like September, August or September, we're like, we have to plan something. October or November.
Yes, and already October was booked with a wellness retreat that Corrine and I did in Ochre Pit in Newfoundland. And some wonderful women came and attended, both from the U.S. and from Newfoundland and Labrador. And then we had a concert.
Yep.
Which was amazing in itself, just an amazing event. And then 4 days later, we are on a plane to Sicily. But the first 4 days, we did 4 countries.
In 4 days.
Yeah.
That's how we started off our trip.
And Corrine did a lot of research. And
because the way it started is September came or August came, and we're like, we've only got this window of time. We were originally going to wait a month after our concert and our well-being retreat. We were going to wait a month and do like November 15th to like December 3rd or 4th. And then
we looked at the weather.
We looked at the weather. It was going to be a little
places.
cooler. And plus, Eddi and I wanted to fly together. So we're like, well, while I'm in St. John's, why don't we just fly from St. John's, New York, and then go to Sicily? Oh, but before that, we were trying to decide on where to go.
Yes.
And the way we did it is I used ChatGPT, and I said, where did two, 60-year-old women who are fit and healthy go on vacation where the weather is warm, and there's hiking and shopping and spas and beautiful scenery
and good food, fresh food.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Where do they go between October 15th and November 15th kind of thing? And there was only really 2 places that we would have considered, and that was like Sicily, where it wasn't the rainy season or whatever, and Spain. Mm-hmm. And you'd already been to Spain, or you and Strat wanted to go to a different part of Spain.
Yes.
And so we decided on Sicily. That was literally how we decided to go. Mm-hmm. So it was sort of based on weather. So we didn't really know a lot about Sicily. And even in my research, I was researching hotels to stay at and where to go. I wasn't really researching, I was researching the history a little bit. Mm-hmm. But I remember when we were talking about, we'd thrown out Mexico and we'd thrown out in Ecuador, and there was a couple countries, and we had decided we didn't really want to do a third world country because it's not as relaxing. It's not as much as a vacation a third world countries are. They're wonderful.
Yes.
And, Eddie and I have done India together, and they're great. But so we found out that Sicily is sort of between a second and third world country. Parts of it are definitely third world, reminded me very much of India. Probably considered second world, which just means it is a very poor part of Italy, and very non-English speaking, which is fine.
And we went to some towns or provinces that were, looked a little run down, and Corinne really found the little jewels in each of these towns, especially in
Shaka.
Yeah, so it's very interesting. So, you can't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah, I mean,
sure.
I think overall we've talked about it the last couple of days. I mean, there were challenging things about this trip. There was a couple of places we almost checked into or did check into, and we checked out of within an hour or so because I learned a lot about. I mean, I thought I was pretty good at like TripAdvisor and looking at reviews and making sure cross-referencing things. But now, even though we've been on the trip, like even that one place that we left out of, there was nothing wrong with, like, it just wasn't what we wanted.
Exactly.
And the reviews didn't reflect that. The pictures looked like it was in sort of remote, but like a nice countryside near the ocean is what it looked like. And we got there, and the room was really dark with no windows, and it was in the middle of the city in rubble.
And going down a dirt road should have been the first clue. And, actually, before that, another clue could have been the person we're trying to contact sent us a road signage with a big red arrow, and to park at that, and they'd meet us there. And we did find it after a little while.
He had to come out to the road.
And then he came out to the road, and it's traffic, and we went down this other little dirt road, and then we had to stop and walk down the other little dirt road.
Which is all part of the adventure, I mean, those are memorable things. I remember I had a trip with my friends from India to the Middle East right before COVID, actually, and everything about that trip, other than the people I was with, which were amazing, and the places we saw were amazing, and that's kind of how this trip has been.
Yes.
The places we saw were really quite incredible, and Eddie and I always have a blast together wherever we go. The rest of it was not great. The same with my Middle East trip, and it is all about who you're with and not where you go.
Well, and we've had a lot of laughs.
Oh my gosh.
We have been laughing. We have walked so much, and it's been awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's been great. And yeah, as we wind down now, this is the thing. You start getting into your work mode and what the next week is going to be like. And I keep stopping myself from doing that because I still am here and want to stay immersed in it and not be anxious to get back to the comforts, which is what we do. We tend to go, can't wait to take my shower, get my right shampoo and my new clothes and the good coffee and the one I make at home and the one I'm used to. We got to keep parking those thoughts. And
I mean, the grass is greener. I mean, how many times do we look forward to vacation? And then when we're on vacation, we look forward to getting home. And there is always, it's very naturally human to do that a little bit, but not to do it too quickly.
Well, there's also a big dose of appreciation and gratitude.
Yeah, that's what
in
it's
knowing,
about.
We sit and we savor some of the stuff that we've, experienced here. And then when we get home, we'll do that again.
Yeah, we'll sit and savor at home. We'll savor all the laughter we had in the places we saw and look at all the amazing photos and the old buildings and places we saw.
And that we got to spend so much time together.
Yeah, and beautiful ocean, like seas, not oceans. They're all seas. We saw 3 different seas. There was the Ionian Sea next to Catania.
The Mediterranean.
And
the Tyrrhenian.
Yeah, Tyrrhenian's next to where we are now in
And
Palermo.
the Adriatic Sea.
Where's the Adriatic? It's a little more north, I think,
yes,
from here.
It's more north, but it was on the little map, and I think we passed it like when we were part of the driving. So
maybe.
Yeah, it was a little tip of it. Because one place was a Trapani. We were 180 kilometers from Africa.
Yep.
Yeah. So you could see
from Tunisia.
a point.
Yeah.
Yeah. On
you
the
can see
clear.
it from on a clear day from up high. You could see the point of Africa, which I had heard that in some of my research, but when you're actually there and can see it, it's pretty wild. And then we met some young soccer players from Tunisia as well that were there.
Yeah, and we were all trying to have a conversation in English, and they were like, "Do you speak French?" And I'm like, "A little bit," and I don't even know what I said in French. I went back to high school French and spoke a little bit, not much.
Yeah. The joke that I always tell people in India is, what do you call someone who speaks one language? American. Because Canadians will speak typically a little bit of French.
Yes,
you know?
most. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to learn a little bit.
Yeah.
But, in other countries, that couple we met from Germany, she helped us decipher a menu in Shaka.
Yeah.
And she spoke 5 languages.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I'm glad we came here just because, we got to spend so much time together. I'm glad I saw Sicily. It really wasn't ever on my radar.
Mine either.
Now it doesn't have to be on my radar anymore.
I know.
No, I think the most challenging part of it, and because we're both foodies, and we love fresh, delicious food, and they do have fresh, delicious food here, but it's not the food that we eat. We don't eat meat.
Yeah.
And we don't eat dairy.
And meat
Eddie doesn't eat dairy.
No, and meat is big here, everywhere you go.
Yeah, I mean, horse meat, every kind of meat. And the fish is really fresh, so fresh that they serve sushi when it's not supposed to be sushi in a lot of places. And so, and Eddie's, of course, gluten-free and stuff. So food was definitely, and the menu's the same, like they're really big on the Sicilian, like every restaurant is Sicilian, which, in India is the same thing. Every food is in, and I just happen to love Indian food.
Well, and even when you go to do something gluten-free or you find a gluten-free recipe, that you have 2 choices, the pizza or the pasta.
Right.
And I don't
salads.
eat pizza or pasta most of the time.
Yeah.
So,
even when you can find gluten-free ones of it.
So I had my digestive chewable enzymes with me, and we took them every day. It normally takes me about 6 months to go through a bottle, but I went through it in a couple of weeks.
Right. We are, and they don't eat a lot of salads like we eat salads.
Yes.
Salad is like iceberg lettuce here, and
it's more of a decoration.
Cucumbers. It is, and tomatoes, really. And that's fine. It's part of their culture and their heritage. It's just that we're not used to it, so that's been challenging. And same with vegetables. They have a lot of eggplant here, roasted eggplant and tomatoes.
Yeah.
And
lots of cucumbers, zucchini.
Yeah. And that's about it, really. I mean, we saw carrots.
And there's
one
not
time
a lot
in the
of
market.
potato. I've had, in the almost 3 weeks we've been gone, I had potato yesterday for the first time since we left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She had some French fries.
Yeah.
Which is total comfort food. I do that in India too. Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. It's nice. And it does give us perspective.
They
Because
were baked.
They weren't. But
No, they weren't.
It's okay. Everything in moderation.
Absolutely.
How often do you have French fries?
I know, not often, no.
Yeah.
But they're yummy. They were potatoes.
Yeah. So it's like some people, I mean, I've heard of people, even in India that will arrive in India and then they'll get on the plane within 48 hours because it's just not their cup of tea. And so, we made the best of everything. We have some great stories to tell. We did have a few moments together that were irritated. We irritated each other. But I wanted to talk about what we do so well. What I noticed is that we'll irritate each other of the silliest things. Like usually it's in the morning when we're both like tired and stuff. And then we're over it within literally 10 seconds. Like we don't hold on to it. We don't hold a grudge. Like my dad would give you, if you had a argument with him or irritated, it's like he'd give you the silent treatment for 3 weeks.
Oh, no, little irritations, like you misread something or it was, and then it's just
do things in a different way.
Yeah.
That's usually what it is.
That's what it is, yeah. And I just do my little eye roll and walk away and like, oh, God, whatever.
So we do irritate each other, but not much for having spent almost 24/7 for the last 5 weeks.
No, and even coming
together.
into Palermo last night,
Oh my
where
gosh.
the plans changed from the last place we stayed at because we had a little house guest come into the room.
In the form of a mouse.
Yes, and some centipedes along the floor after we came out of our meditation that looked like someone was dropping parasites. It was so gross. And we never said anything to each other. All I see is we start looking at where is that little rodent. And of course, it would have to be in my little bag, 4 slices of gluten-free bread that I found, and had the first slice of toast yesterday. And Corinne was laughing, and I'm going, because when I reached in and heard the sound and moved the bag, her pasta in my little bag, it was in the gluten-free bread, which means, and it jumped out and it ran across the floor. And of course, our reactions were typical of anyone not expecting a mouse to jump out at you from your food. And it ran across the floor, and we jumped up, and before we didn't even say anything. Like, are we going to make it through the night? It's already dark. Corinne's on the computer, and there's a place being booked. And there's a, sorry, we have to leave, and we're going to leave our food because the mice got into it. And we drive into Palermo, and there's mountains around us, which we'll see on our way out to the airport. And we're driving in, and we're going through stuff, streets, motorcycles going around you, up and down,
rush
in and
hour.
out.
It was 7 p.m.
And Corinne navigated through it like a trooper.
It was nutty. It
Amazing.
was nutty.
And then the hotel, the directions were all those windy, when you're using Waze.
gosh, it was
So
so
windy,
narrow.
windy, up these narrow hills, down these streets that look like the alley for a one lane.
And that's their normal streets, or like an
Motorcycle.
alley, one lane, but it's 2 cars, and that's why everybody's supposed
Yes.
to have tiny cars, but there's big buses too.
Yes, there's big buses, which we followed around the city for just a little bit.
Yeah.
And we make it up to the hill, and we get into the room, we check in, and Corinne, I look at her, and bless her heart, she's like, oh. And we still haven't eaten at this point because
Yeah.
the mouse ate our food.
Yeah.
So, what a feast he got, because we also went and navigated through a little store in Tuscany where no one speaks English and found some groceries.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, we've done very well. And then we get into the room, we sit down, and then we started to laugh because I started to act like Corinne driving the car up the hill, like the gear shift and the Waze in her hand, and oh, this is going around in a circle, and I'm over on the side looking out at the mountains in the city, and whoa, these are really windy roads. Like we're
Very
each
steep
having our
cliff.
experience, and I'm going, wow. And she's like, I really didn't want to do this.
I didn't want to.
Not at rush hour.
The one thing I didn't want to do, I was okay driving in Sicily, but the one thing I didn't want to do was drive in Palermo because I'd heard about it. It's like the
Yes.
LA of Sicily.
Well, even when we got into the hotel, the guy at the checkout, he says, "Oh, you drove here," and Corinne, well, his broken English, and she said, "The driving, like the people are so nice, but they drive like they're so mad." And he goes, "Oh, driving here is in Palermo is like India."
Yeah, and I won't drive in India.
Yeah, so she totally could relate. So she just got.
So I had a glass of Prosecco upon arrival,
Yes,
and
we
I'm like,
did.
I need a glass of Prosecco. So we both.
And we
had
don't
that.
drink rarely anyway, but yeah, and we probably should have another one tonight.
Definitely. It's our last night in Sicily.
Yes, so
Yeah.
the journey has been amazing. The stories are great. And yes, you are going to irritate each other, or someone's going to, do something or say something, or when you're tired but
There's no need to make a mountain out of a molehill.
no, there's not. Because
Yeah.
the intention is always, we're here to enjoy this time in our lives, to celebrate what we can do at 60 and what we've really stretched our brain cells.
Yeah, that's the thing is that traveling does get harder as you get older, I think, or can, because you do get a little more set in your ways. You are used to your comforts a little more. You may not travel as much, and we definitely stretched it. in every which way, which is good. I'm glad we did it. I mean, like we said, we have a lot of stories to tell, and we did see a lot of amazing places, and we did laugh a lot.
We did.
And we had one place where they did have fresh squeezed juice. Oh my gosh, we had that for a couple of days, every day straight. Remember the place?
Yes.
Pulled up and they had
That was
had
outside
centrifuge.
Noto.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. That was just like my cells came alive.
Yeah, and they had a salad that was actually pretty decent.
Yep.
As well.
They did.
So
We were there a couple of days,
Yeah.
that little spot.
Mhm.
And they had a really nice outdoor pool, and there was, just when you're ready to chillax, there was one little child that started screaming out like a dolphin. I call her the dolphin child. That sound was, that.
By
that,
the pool. Eddie's trying to relax by the pool.
I'm trying to relax and read, and then she's screaming, and then she gets her mother to do it and her father to do it, so they're all the dolphin family. And I'm like, oh, I am an orca.
So she came back to the room to do her
Came back
reading.
to, yeah.
But we actually really didn't do much reading on this trip. We were kind of go.
We were walking
Yeah.
and hiking and searching for food.
That's true.
Now we understand hunters and gatherers. Definitely it began here.
Oh my gosh, we were searching for gluten-free bakeries. I was for you.
Yes.
I wanted to find some
Yes.
food for you.
I know. I know. Yeah, and bless her heart, she did in some places.
Yeah, in some places we did.
Yeah.
And then we did find some grocery stores too, some snacks. And we got some nuts for snacks. We've got some emergency supplies for our flight to Barcelona.
Mm-hmm.
And so probably our next podcast will be when you're in Newfoundland and I'm in Nashville.
I know.
I'll be very sad.
No, we won't be sad. We get to see each other every week
On the
via
podcast.
Zoom.
Yeah.
And we'll have lots of adventures to share because now in Newfoundland, winter is approaching. In fact, they had a little snow there today, which is a little bit early.
Yeah.
And we have...
Well, it's November 1st.
It is November 1st. I can hardly believe it.
And we're outside in our shorts in Palermo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, you are.
I'm in my shorts. Eddie's in a sweater and jeans.
Yeah.
I'm in a t-shirt and shorts. It is 70 degrees.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is like 18, 19 Celsius. So that's comfortable for me. I love this temperature.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've got another couple of days and of traveling, and then we get back to our lives,
Regular
and
lives.
routine, and there's nothing regular about our lives anyway.
No.
We tend to do lots of things, and we're spontaneous with things. And I know my honey's missing me. I'm missing him too. So.
And your grandkids.
And my daughter and my grandkids and my mom, they're all missing me. My siblings, my friends. Same for you.
My yogi students are missing me, and that's about it.
Well, yes, your friends.
But Eddie, I left home when you did too. I left home very, very young.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kind of am I've tried to explain this to people. I sort of am wherever I'm at. And I don't go into the longing of missing people. Like,
That's
even when
right.
I was married or my kids in India or my family who I love dearly. I have a lot of people I'm close to. I feel them in my heart all the time.
Yeah.
And I never miss them. I don't go
I
into
love
the
that.
longing.
I remember you or Satya saying that in India, there is no need to miss because you're always in your heart.
Yeah.
There's no missing.
Yeah.
Once you've had the experience with people, it's always there.
They're part of you. They're part of you. Once you are connected to someone, friendship or otherwise.
But we always say that. I miss you. I love you. We don't go, I don't miss you, really, because I know you're here with me.
I don't say that, though, very much, though. Like, Sachi and I actually never said it to each other, ever. Anyway, different.
Different strokes for different folks.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I roll my eyes at this moment.
We cherish our differences.
We got lots of pictures, though.
Oh my gosh, I got our
boy.
thumbs for our podcast for the next year, which is what I wanted. I wanted to get lots of thumbs because I was starting to scrape the bottom of the barrel,
Oh, yes.
for like 10 years ago, pictures of us together.
Wow.
For the thumbs for our
And we've not
podcast,
changed very much. Just a few extra wrinkles and skin that's shifting and changing and maybe going to places it never was before. Just
what
like
it
us.
does.
Yeah.
Gravity, 60 years on the planet. It's
Isn't
amazing. The
that
body.
wonderful that we've done this at 60? This is great. Wonder what we'll do at 65 or 70 or 75. How beautiful.
I don't feel 60.
I don't either. You don't look it either.
Neither do you.
Thanks. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
So
good.
60 is the new 40. Is that what they say?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Even when we were walking along the street, it was so funny. I was standing there waiting, and then the car drove by, and the guy startled me because he whistled. And I was like, what's he doing? Was I on the road or something? And
I was an Italian.
And he was
Whistling
Italian,
at you.
whistling. And I'm like, oh, he was whistling. Oh my gosh, that hasn't happened in years. Imagine at 60 to get a whistle. And then we're walking down an alley that we kind of got lost. And then we hear from the top a 98-year-old man, meow, meow. I was like, what? Ew.
Yeah, it makes it different who the.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does. Yeah. So all in the same week. What? Who knew?
All right. So that was our deep dive into Sicily, Ed.
Until next time.
Until next time, see you on Zoom.
Ciao, Bella.
Ciao.